management team and members of the public viewing proceedings online to today's meeting. Could I ask that Cabinet members and officers leave your microphones on mute, please, during the meeting, unless or until you wish to comment, and also if officers could turn off your video feed unless you wish to speak. Do we have any apologies for the meeting today? No? Thank you. Item number 1 is declarations of interest. Has anybody got any interest to declare? No, I'm not seeing anyone indicating. So if we go to item number 2, which is minutes of the last meeting of the 15th of January, and that's on pages 56 to 62 of your agenda packs. Are those minutes agreed? Yep. Thank you. There are no mayoral reports to be considered today. And item number 4, which is mayoral recommendations. There's one public recommendation, which is from the second supplementary agenda that you had, and that's on pages 63 to 66, and seeks approval to procure vouchers on behalf of schools to be issued to families with children eligible for free school meals. Excluding the February half term for which this council has directly used funding to provide vouchers for it, so there won't be any gap. It is anticipated that the DfE will reimburse expenditure in accordance with their public comments on the 6th of January. Barbara, would you like to make any comments?
Yes, thank you, Chair. The way we've managed this so we could get the vouchers out quickly to families is we'd already bought the half-term vouchers, and so we've used those for the first tranche whilst we're waiting for the termly ones to come from government. So on the whole, I think we've managed the situation very efficiently, and I'd just really like to thank the officers for thinking outside of the box and getting that moving so fast. Thank you.
Thanks, Barbara. Any other comments? No? Are the recommendations as set out in the report agreed? Yep. We do have one partially exempt report today, and I suggest that we consider it as published on the main agenda, and as the appendix to the report is exempt, we could take it here unless Cabinet members have any questions on the exempt bit. Do they? No? Then we'll consider that report now, and that's the sale of the residential ground leases, and it's on pages 33 to 39, and the recommendation seeks approval to approve the disposal of the long residential ground rent leases to the current lessees. It does not address leases of apartments, as separate statutory rules apply to those. There are approximately 9,000 individual properties, and there's no strategic rationale for the council to retain these interests. Barry, would you like to make any comments?
Yeah, I think this is tidying up an old legacy of the council where these properties were let, probably some of them 100 years ago, or within the last 100 years, on a 999-year lease. And there's all kinds of conditions on them for people if they want to sell their properties or do any refurbishment or make changes to them. And there's a very small number have ground rent. Most of them, over 8,000 of them don't. And they're a cost to the council. But I think it's easier and it's better for people to own the freehold of their own properties rather than the leasehold. So we'll be writing out to all 9,000 residents that are in those properties and asking them if they want to buy the lease for £1,000, and that's the recommendation in the report today.
Thanks, Barry. Any other comments? No. So is that recommendation agreed? Yeah. Thank you. We have no reports for agenda items 5 or 6. So we now move on to item number 7, which is the Chief Financial Officer's reports. We have 2 reports to consider today, both of which are part of our monthly monitoring of the financial position. The first one is the Revenue Monitor, which is 2020-2021, and the budget update for month 8. And the report sets out the revenue forecast as at month 8 of the current financial year. It also provides an update on the budget position for 2021-22. Mel, would you like to say a few words on the report? I know it's quite detailed, but you may have a few comments.
Thanks, Chair. Just to say, the report outlines that the Council's financial position is a 650k overspend, which is a further improvement on last month's position. The pandemic continues to have an impact on both our spend and income, so there is still some uncertainty in the forecast there, but we are hopeful we'll be able to bring that overspend in line to a balanced position by the year end. If we can do that, we will not be calling on our reserves this year to balance that financial position. Thank you.
Mel, any comments?
If I may act in there, just to say, I think given the degree and the extent of the turbulence that the council's had to absorb this year, that's quite a feat. And I know that the team in my directorate, but also in the finance directorate and across the council, have put in so much work to make sure that we remain a financially stable authority. I'd like to just pay my personal thanks to everybody involved in making sure that the council as a whole is kept financially solid and stable in these very uncertain times, and I think it reflects well, because we've seen what's happened in other local authorities about how quickly things can go off the rails, and particularly in the year that we've just experienced.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I think it's amazing to be at this position at this time in the year, given all the uncertainty and sort of also the financial support that council has given to our communities over and above at times what we've been given from government, just as Barbara's outlined with the preschool meal vouchers, supporting that through, the half term as well. So, yeah, I think not only Mel and her team, but right across every directorate who's really worked hard to, bring their own budgets in line. And I know some departments do have particularly, additional pressures, particularly because of the pandemic and the impact that does have, on families and communities. So, it's well done to everybody. So are the recommendations as set out in that report agreed? Yeah, thanks. And item B of the financial report is the capital programme monitor for that same period of month 8. And the report provides an update in respect of the current capital programme of this financial year. And again, Mel, would you like to say a few words on that?
Thanks, Chair. The report details a £16 million reduction in the capital programme for this year, the largest move of which is Festival Gardens remediation at £7 million and a reprofiling of that scheme. If you look further into the report over the 5-year programme, you will see that we have factored in now a £6 million decrease in the capital receipts available. That's a result of the reprogramming of disposals and reviewing those receipts, and also the amount that we require now is a little more certain around the financial transformation. So that's also been factored in. Thank you.
Thanks, Mel. Any comments? No? Are the reports set out in the report agreed? Thank you. We have no reports for item 8, so that takes me on to the mayoral announcements. We're still in the situation, as people are aware, in respect of the pandemic and the national lockdown. And although our numbers have started to come down, as we know, they come down a lot more slowly than they go up. And we're at the stage now within the hospitals where they're reaching their peak, probably now in the hospital, and people will be keeping an eye on those figures as we proceed over the next few weeks. So it's important more than ever to stick to the guidelines, and stay at home wherever you can, and to limit social distancing at all times. And if you do need to go out, to work or to shop or to get medical supplies or assistance, then making sure, that, sort of you're following the hands, face and space rules, and, will help us to get out of this. We have also commenced the vaccination programme in the city, and it's great that we are now beginning to, look at some of our more vulnerable groups. And Paul, would you like to comment on sort of a new initiative that's just been announced?
Thank you very much, Mayor, and I wholly endorse your comments in relation to the stress that the NHS is under. It's more important than ever that people don't take their guard or don't lift their guard in relation to abiding by the rules and making sure that they follow the guidance in relation to hands, face and space. A huge thank you to the council as a whole and you personally for continuing to prioritise the support for the most vulnerable people in our city, and I'm pleased to be able to tell Cabinet that we have agreed with our NHS partners that we will ensure that some of the most vulnerable people in our city, the rough sleepers, are vaccinated. They are all already offered accommodation as a result of being prioritised for accommodation support by the City Council, but working together with our NHS partners, we have agreed that because of their particular vulnerabilities, both to themselves and also to the wider community, that they will be prioritised for the vaccination programme, and hopefully they will be vaccinated in their hostels and accommodation, or their temporary accommodation, and their over the weekend. So a big thank you to yourself, Acting Mayor, and also to our NHS partners for that. It's an example of putting our policies where our values are.
Well, thanks for that. As people are aware as well, our budget consultation is continuing, and if people go onto the website to contribute to that, they have until the 13th of February to do so, and it's really important that we do get the views of everyone. So anybody who's watching this live stream, if you go on to liverpool.gov.uk and take part in that, and it will really help us to shape, sort of the coming year ahead. Also, as well, in respect of the Article 4 directive, Barry, do you want to say a few words on that? And obviously that consultation is still out.
Yeah, the consultation's ongoing, and just to remind people that the consultation is about bringing into making sure that houses that are going to be converted into homes of multiple occupation of less than 7 rooms will have to come to planning, and it will help if it's agreed. And that's what the consultation's for. Then it gives the council the opportunity of being able to regulate the development of houses of multiple occupation across the city. The consultation's going well. It's running till the 19th of February. So anyone who wants to make a comment or just to give us an example of the impact, landlords or tenants and residents around the areas of or own houses of multiple occupation, please log into the consultation on the council website and leave your comments there. We've had quite a few comments, and it's really helpful.
Thanks a lot, Barry. That's great. And to finish this morning on a really positive note, I know we are always thanking our staff for all the hard work right across all the departments that they've been doing throughout the last year, particularly, and going above and beyond. And our children's social care staff, sometimes who aren't used to getting a lot of praise and recognition for the really hard work that they do, and who've really been on the front line through this pandemic, have received some amazing news about awards this week. So Linny, do you want to inform Cabinet and the public of that? I think you're still on mute, Linny, sorry.
Thanks, Chair. Brilliant news, and it is a testament to the work, like you said, Lindsay. Yesterday, the NSPCC held their annual conference of their GP2, and what that is, it's a greater profile for the actual care our children and young people receive. It's a national thing that happens every year, and Liverpool won an amazing 7 out of the national awards. So 7 awards out of 16 nationally, Liverpool were recognised. And this wasn't just our own frontline service, but the work that our partners do, which is really important as well. It was also the first time a team, so Angela, I'm not going to mention them, I'm going to write to them all today personally, but Angela Dunun's entire team
we're recognised and won that award, and that's never happened before. So congratulations to everybody. It's a massive achievement to be recognised and win one award, but to win 7 from 16, I think Liverpool certainly are leading the way when it comes to protecting our children.
Yeah, and the Greater Care very proud too that they've won it. You know, for those who don't know, who are perhaps part of the cabinet, children's social care is an assessment tool that's used to help parents improve, you know, issues around neglect within the home. So it's really important that people are working with those families to help them move those positive changes and allow children to remain at home. Quite often, and we know, you know, we are trying a whole range of things to reduce our children looked after population. So again, given that their work is so good in that, it's also going to benefit in lots of other areas, because it's also going to prevent perhaps the need, you know, for children at some point in the future to become looked after. Barry?
Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, thank you. Well done, Linny, and well done the team of obviously working with, with Steve and Fiona for years. I obviously I've just found out about this now, so I'm really proud of this from our council perspective. We invested in children's services to have exactly this kind of impact, and the commitment and the expertise, the professionalism of all of our staff, and the impact that they have on young people is clearly being recognised. And I think as a council we should be really proud of what we've done. Well done.
Thanks, Barry. Again, if I know Linny's going to speak to all the individual staff, but I think the whole department as a whole, working together have helped these staff as well achieve those awards, as you say, as well as investment over the years in additional staff and training as well, even though, we have been hit so hard, with budget cuts. We do continue to invest where it's needed most, our vulnerable children. So that's fantastic. So well done to everybody. So that brings us to the end of our cabinet this morning. We've got a blue sky today and the sun is shining. So hopefully spring is on the way, and those vaccines are going to be coming through thick and fast, Paul. So we can soon be out, in the sunshine in the summer and sort of enjoying each other's company again. But until that time, please do stay safe. Remember, hands, face and space, and make sure you all stay safe and well. So see everybody in a fortnight for the cabinet.